Love that intro. Beautiful. Is this the Almiron Grealish was talking about? Newcastle continue their winless run. Arsenal like to keep things interesting and hit a last-minute winner against now the worst team in the league. Gotta keep it fun. Gotta keep it entertaining to watch. Everton and West Ham doing everything they can to get relegated with a 4-0 loss and a draw. Chelsea finally get their win. Potter ball is back. Hashtag Potter in.
Potter in, Potter in.
Potter in. All right. Spurs rest their players and lose out the FA Cup just to do it all over again on the weekend. Ivan Toney.
Fuck Ivan Toney.
I might need to put your money on. That's all I got to say. Liverpool are back as they beat Erik Ten Hag's imposter Norwegian brother, Agent 007, Erik Sven Hag. 0 goals, 0 assists, 7 conceded. I am one of your hosts. My name is Eric.
John, a.k.a. Gat.
Diego Statro.
And Josue Dyer.
And we got to take a shot because we're 5 minutes late. We were supposed to start at 7:45. Crack producer is missing somebody today, and things didn't go as planned to kick off. So,
I mean, I'm not the best pro out there, but hey, I got us streaming on 2 different platforms: YouTube/BenchWarmers FC TV and Twitch.BenchWarmers FC.
So go check it out. If you're watching this now on YouTube, thank you for being there. We will post that next time on our Instagram, so you know where to catch us. But obviously, as you can see, Nick is not here, but he will be joining us shortly. Not shortly. Well, maybe shortly. What time is it?
Yeah,
Sure.
soon enough.
I'm checking
So
my watch.
we'll try to
He'll
buy
be
some
here.
time before we get into the
Checking
into
my
the
watch.
game
My
that,
watch is dead.
I'm sure we're all waiting to get to. But
Into the scrimmage.
into the scrimmage, as God calls it. But how are you guys?
Good. Can't complain.
Can't complain.
I can, but
Yeah, man.
and will, but
I'm licking my wounds, bro. It's a hell of a contrast to be high one week and then low another. But
Is there-
that's the beauty of football.
you
So
looking
that's
That
pretty
is
good.
football.
licking your wounds like Eric, thanks to Palacios.
Oh
Yo,
my
for real,
God!
yo, man,
Listen,
we finally had our first practice as Bafana. The boys are getting the band back together, guys. We're gonna start playing in our elderly league.
Over 30. Don't say elderly yet, man.
Our
chill.
elderly league, and
Make it sound like they need
Our
AARP
senior-
cards
our
to
senior-
sign up.
Real. I
Damn.
alert type of shit.
Our senior
Oh.
citizen league.
yo, practice at 6 in the morning because I gotta be home for bedtime,
Mm-hmm.
But first practice was on Saturday. I'm not gonna lie, it felt weird running just in general.
Sunday.
And even touching the ball was like, what is this? But then Josh, if you're out there watching right now, bro, my man came. My
Two-footed?
practice, bro.
He was the only one all practice that ended up slide tackle.
And
all
who
practice.
did he tackle? Me, of course.
That sounds like a personal thing, man.
The studs up, 2-footed, bro.
Bro, that was a beauty to watch. Not to
Oh,
give
am
shit.
I?
No. In the sense that I
don't
got
make it
the
up.
best view of that because
Uh-huh.
I was defending
You were
with
right there.
Palacios.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
Okay.
was literally like maybe 2 feet away.
Oh
And
wow.
all I'm following, I'm tracking Eric, right? I'm not slow ass, just trying to track Eric, right? Imagine that.
Look, I'm running so slow. Like, oh, there you
Nah,
go.
bro. They were all wearing cleats. I'm wearing sneakers.
Yeah, that was funny.
That's on me, bro. But yeah, I see, and out of the blue, fucking Palacios just comes, slides in right in front of Eric, takes the ball. Eric trips over Palacios. I start dying immediately because nobody has been like slide tackling at all. Like,
and
why?
The worst part is it wasn't like a tackle where like he really like I went flying over him. It was just like I didn't
just-
know where else to fall, so I just like kind of fell over. Just,
Oh, I
like,
see, I
kinda
see.
landed
It
on
was
him.
so,
Yeah, yeah,
it
yeah,
was
yeah.
so unexpected. I'm on the other side of the field, just tracking either Perry or Josue. I forget who it was on that
You were
side.
on
and-
my team.
No, not at that point.
Not at that point.
was
No,
just
that was
like,
early. That was
Yeah,
early.
Still,
That
for
was early.
Josue, this is all a blur.
And like I'm like,
Oh,
okay,
so
Were you
everything's
at
a blur?
practice, bro?
I was,
Yeah,
probably,
practice?
I was probably picking up the ball that
My
power
man
shot
was
it.
too busy
So I'm
cleaning
like-
out his
So I'm
random
like,
white
okay,
cleats.
the ball is out on the opposite side, so I'm not even gonna pay attention. I'm gonna make sure I track my guys to make sure I'm there. And out of nowhere, I just hear fucking yell. I'm like, what the fuck just happened?
Yo, bro,
It was
I don't even
so
know what happened,
unexpected
but
for a
he-
first practice. It was
bro,
very
I mean,
unexpected.
look, I didn't. I was out of bounds because as soon as he said tackle, I already felt in my head. Like I knew what was happening because I can't control myself. So
Dang.
I just tumbled over.
Uh-huh.
But that was a fun practice, man.
It was.
Good.
It
That's
was.
good. I'm getting the miles in.
This guy had a pro clubs moment. You know, where he double powers the shots. About
Yeah?
What was it again?
What did he do?
What did he do again? Remind me.
How far was he?
So what happened was I got the ball. I was on the edge,
Uh-huh.
and then like I tried to shoot it at goal, but I missed completely, and I hit it really hard. But here's the thing: Marco was wearing orange, and the pop-up goals are orange, so I got mixed up. I thought he was a goal.
What the?
Fuck out of
Are you
here,
saying
bro.
Marco looks like a goal, bro? That's fucked
He was
up.
wearing orange.
That
so
shit
that's
was
what I
down
thought.
to
That's what I thought.
a foot and a half off the ground. My fat ass is at least 6 feet. How do you confuse that? Come on.
I mean, I just saw orange.
So
That explains a lot, you know.
so he just power shot it at Marco.
Dude.
No wonder my man has a horrible first touch.
Also,
Can't see the ball coming.
also, I wasn't wearing my contacts.
Oh,
Okay,
that's fine.
bueno.
Next-
Ah,
If you were receiving
bueno.
the ball, I would believe that, but
You know
you were kicking
ne-
the ball.
That was
That's
Next-
one
different.
excuse,
listen.
this is the other excuse.
Ne-
Okay,
next,
Yeah.
one.
next is gonna say it was his weak foot. It was on his right. And that's
It was
good.
on my weak
There,
foot.
there,
It
there.
was
I
on
thought you
there.
didn't have a weak foot.
My right leg.
Come on, man.
Well,
Use
also-
this air out of here, bro.
You know,
And then the fourth excuse it was too muddy.
Was it too muddy?
It was very
was
muddy.
Oh,
It was actually.
that was.
And Marco was wearing his fucking flat top Nike shoes, like all in mud. I'm surprised he did not fall. Not
That's
gonna
my
lie.
first time playing soccer in what, 20 years?
In a while, yeah, of course.
What's funny was that Marco was telling me that he loves wearing Adidas. I looked down, he's wearing
Ooh,
Nike.
Nike, but only Nike shoes, bro.
I'm like, wait, what?
What shoes do you guys prefer? Nike or Adidas or Puma or New Balance? What's your go-to?
Never wore New Balance, never wore Under Armour or Puma. It's always either been Adidas or Nike.
Okay.
Yeah, mine was predominantly Adidas. I think that's what I have now. I might actually have to get a new pair.
Diego.
Honestly, when I was, here's the thing. Like I feel like it was more accessible to have Puma, but I always preferred Adidas, at least on my feet. But like times were times, so sometimes I had to settle for like I don't know if you guys remember there was a Puma line that was like silver with like red accents. But either way, honestly, Adidas for me.
It's funny you say Puma because Puma. There was one of my favorite shoes were Puma ones, and this is when I used to play back in Inter with Vlad. So Vlad's not here today, but he would definitely remember these. They were white and with a golden scent, but they were the most comfortable shoes I've ever had.
Nice, yeah.
I
But
like
I'll go
Josue's.
this.
I like Josue's new cleats. I might
Yeah.
need the link for that.
They're all
I
muddy
don't know
now.
about that shot accuracy.
Yeah, all right. I mean,
Hey,
I had to,
I had to
it's
break
the
them
shirt,
in.
don't get it.
It's
I
the
had to-
person. It's the person in the cleats, not the cleats.
Oh,
I had to break
Oh.
them in.
Is that the fifth one?
But-
That's the fifth excuse.
That
I
was
had
on
to
fire.
I grew up in Guatemala, so for me,
huh?
so for me that when I was growing up, the big thing was the total 90s, right? I
Yeah.
remember those beautiful things.
Total 90s, yeah.
Guatemala didn't exist. It was total 60s and total 70s.
Total 60s.
The last in the game.
Literally, bro. It was hilarious.
That's how long they lasted in
That's
the
how long-
game.
exactly.
Yeah, when it came to Nike, it's always been tiempos
Ooh.
because they're a little bit wider.
I don't like those. Really, I feel like they're narrower.
Nah, the Mercurials are fucking narrow.
Oh, yeah,
more,
Mercurials are
and the
super narrow, so
vapors.
Ronaldo's.
And the vapors. But
I've always felt like those shoes would like completely obliterate my feet
Oh, yeah,
with
they fucked up my
blisters,
feet.
bro.
yeah,
I never like I
Mhm.
tried once and I was like, nah, man, this I'm not. I don't got the techers to be able to actually do work in these. So it's been comfy Adidas.
when it came to Adidas, it was always the Predators. But I found these and they felt pretty comfortable.
I found some Timberland Adidas hybrids if you want.
I think I got those already.
Oh my God.
Those are the only ones that I use.
He's got the- he's got
Actually, that's
he's
the
got
one that I
steel
used
toe
on
version.
Sunday.
Wait, but you guys were playing on like big goals, right? For him to have power shot it, like
No,
like
no,
the
doing actual
normal
goals, yeah.
size, normal size
Yeah,
goals.
those are goals.
Oh no, when he did the power
No, when
shot,
he
no,
did-
we were playing the little ones.
Oh,
When
the
he,
two
when
feet
he
goal.
power shot it,
It was a pop-up
yeah,
goal.
It was the
Yeah.
pop up.
Like
And
I
you
said,
still-
I,
and
I
you
thought
still
he
hit it
was
that
the
hard?
pop-up goal. I thought he was the
Nah.
pop-up goal. He was wearing orange. The
Doesn't
pop-up
matter.
goals are orange, so it was also muddy. Okay, I had someone on my
Yeah,
back.
yeah,
Now,
muddy,
the
right
muddy one
leg,
is a new one. The
peg
muddy one is
leg.
six.
I used my weak foot.
Use your weak
okay, I didn't-
foot. She was wearing.
I wasn't wearing
you know,
contacts. The
wasn't
sun
wearing
was in my
contacts.
the
she was
sun was
wearing
in my
broken in.
eyes, you know.
No,
and
now
then
the sun was in the eyes.
and then I
Got
thought
it.
about you. You distracted me. So
There was
Nah,
no sun.
It was probably cloudy that day.
it actually was.
It was.
It was.
It was
cloudy.
cloudy,
It
actually,
was
yeah.
cloudy.
Cloudy and cold.
Oh man,
Oh man! All right.
That's
Any,
good,
any,
though.
any other excuse?
Bafana
Um,
getting back together though, right? Like at least, how did the practice feel?
It felt pretty good. I mean, everyone felt tired and tight at the
Hell
end.
yeah, bro.
At the end of the day, and the
except
next
for
day.
except for Vlad, we were all packing up and getting ready to go.
Yeah,
Vlad's like, that's it.
Just want some more. What the hell's wrong
Vlad's
with you,
like,
bro?
that's
Then,
it?
Damn.
and then yesterday he's like, "Hey, yo, bro, I'm actually hurting."
Yeah.
He's like, "I can't sleep."
But yeah, how's it getting the band back together? It's nice because we have some new additions,
Mhm.
and got just joining us. Vlad's also joining the team for the first time, And hopefully, sooner or later we can get you on there as well.
I hope
Maybe
so.
a guest appearance every now and then.
I hope
Yes,
so.
sir.
But
At
would
least
love that.
warm the bench with me for a little bit, man.
I will roll the bench.
are you gonna record the games?
It's gonna. Yeah, I was gonna say that.
I mean,
Commentary.
if
Play by
if,
play.
if
I'm putting the pressure on him right now because we're live. So if he says yes,
you, want,
You know
you
what it is,
really
if
want
he
me to
says no,
record the games? I can take
I'm
pictures.
asking- I'm
Remember
asking
how
the
I
crack
took pictures.
producer what he can handle. That's all I'm asking.
This is-
If I'm
this
there,
is-
I'll do my best to capture
are-
as much
My
of
man's
the
already
game as
making an excuse
possible.
before he even does it.
Nah.
That's where you get it from.
These aren't morning.
He's
These
learning
aren't
from me.
morning.
He's my
games.
protege.
These aren't morning games, so you can't use sleep as an excuse.
No, but I can't because I have to go to bed early.
At 6 o'clock,
I mean, you're a traveling team, aren't you?
the games are at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Are they all?
We'll be
Yes.
there at 6 o'clock.
I gotta work at 5. I can't make it.
And the excuse started quick. All right, so
Oh,
no, we're not
wow.
going live. But
We'll get Diego's play-by-play then. That's fine.
There you go.
That's fine.
they'll give commentary.
That's fine.
I do have an opening question for you guys, and then we can get into some kickoff action. So if you guys are good. Anything else you want to get off your chest? Any other
Nah, man. Let's
highlight of the week?
let's
Friday
let's
today?
let's get into it. Let's get it started.
So my question to you guys is: if you were to get someone into football who doesn't normally watch it, and you want them, to kind of get them more involved, who would you tell them to watch? And I'm asking for a player, not a team.
Oh damn,
And who would you not want them to watch?
that's a good one.
That's so tough.
Let us know who would you introduce your friend to get into it, and who would you not want them to watch? Because they'll just be like, oh, I'm really gonna watch this
Are you
sport.
talking about someone that we know or like a celebrity? Someone.
No,
Just in
just
general,
like just
just
like
in
imagine
general.
in
Let's say
general.
I'm getting Marco who knows nothing about soccer, and I
Oh, I
want
see.
him to get
Gotcha.
involved.
Okay.
I'll start because I've already had this conversation with a friend that doesn't really know, but has been interested because he has a little one now, and the little one has grown and the interests are there. So he asked, should I watch MLS? I said, hell no. Don't you will lose your patience there. Please don't start there. Start with the Premier League. I said, don't choose a team. Just watch games, because
Which player?
well, if I had to choose one right now, I'd say go with fuck it, Saka, man. Why not? He is the best at what he does right now, and he's
It's a little biased, but
he's very interested and young, right?
Okay.
And
Okay,
has
I like
has
that.
no bad habits,
I like
and
that.
but he gets fouled consistently and stuff like that. If Messi would have been a little bit more in his prime or still at Barcelona, I would have gone with that, or Ronaldo. But I think they're both they're in leagues that aren't like as competitive as the Premier League is, so I'd go with Saka.
Who would you not want them to watch?
Oh,
Come on, dude. I'm setting this up for you. If you don't take it, then I'm just gonna. And I know these guys.
I'll tell you right now,
could tell, bro.
just because of the hatred that I have for him, fucking Karen Fernandez, bro.
Of course. He'd be missing out. That friend of yours.
He will not miss
You'd be
out
doing
on
him. You'd be doing
no,
him a
because you know what?
disservice.
You know what? The one number one thing that all Americans say about soccer, the first thing they see is, oh, well, all they do is dive and cry. What does fucking Karen Fernandez do? Dive and cry. So that would not be a player that I would encourage them to watch. Wait until you actually enjoy the game and then see the flaws in the game.
I think that's a good way to go about it. Someone that can teach you the joys of the game before the flaws. And that's rough, man. I can't think. Like, yeah, of course, there are standout players, there are young players, but I'm trying to think of like an iconic one that you could like follow every week, and it's tough.
If I could say one, just pass. I would say Ronaldinho
That's literally the person that I'm
Mhm,
thinking of.
mhm.
because he literally puts. I feel like anybody who watches him has a smile on their face.
Hmm.
But I don't know. That's where you were saying that it's iconic. I'm like Ronaldinho's iconic.
Yeah, you
like,
could feel that, and like what player has that kind of level or that prestige, or even like to no fault of their own, that consistency, because they're all much older now, and so they're missing games, and if anything, it's making me feel more depressed than anything, because like, damn, I really got no one to like tell him to tell somebody who has no idea, or if it was like an alien, maybe if I could reframe it that way, someone that has like, okay, this is the beautiful sport. Why is it a beautiful sport? Just watch this player and you'll see. And I'm at a loss, man. I can't think of someone who is actually like a wholesome like baller. Even someone like they don't even have to be that talented. Like even someone like Beckham, like in his, I don't know, even in his PSG days, like he still would have been doing. It's rough,
It's
man.
tough. It's tough. It's yeah. I agree with Diego. Like, you know, what we grew up with, it's tough to actually, you know,
Damn.
compare to the players that we have now. These young guys, like with all due respect, they're amazing. They're great. Saka, Mbappe, Haaland. But the flair, the skill, the passion that you feel from the players that we grew up watching, Ronaldinho, Kaká, Raúl,
Or even Kaká.
Henry.
So they're just gonna be watching highlight reels on YouTube then. They're not actually
Basically.
gonna
I
be watching
guess
soccer game.
so.
I guess so.
So from here on out, nobody should watch the football because there's nothing going
I
on
mean,
right now.
if to answer Eric's question, if I had to choose one, I would say freaking I don't know, Mbappe.
Okay,
Mbappe?
that's something.
It is something because
You're gonna be watching
I
a
think-
Farmers League that has nothing to go for. But
well, just wait until he moves out of there. Just gotta wait.
so don't start now. Wait until like a year or two.
Jesus Christ, I'm answering the question.
I mean, because you guys are saying there's nobody to enjoy right now. So why, like, it's to Marco's point. Why even watch it?
Okay, if it has to be somebody from the Premier League, I can't pick anybody. Not gonna lie, I cannot pick anybody. I mean, yeah, maybe Saka. I don't know. Somebody not to watch?
There's some.
Harry Maguire.
Well, to be fair,
Most of
he's not even
Spurs.
playing, so nobody can watch him.
Most of,
Exactly. So
Most
don't
of
watch
the-
the bench.
most of Spurs too. You can have to,
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, definitely don't watch the United that lost 7-0. So
We're not even there yet, bro. Can we get there first and then we can start?
I mean, yeah, but you already started talking shit, so I'm gonna track back with that shit.
So the
Fuck
guy
that.
who's sleeping and dreaming about Harry Maguire, man. No one even brought him up. You
I
could've
said
picked
don't
anyone
watch
else.
Harry Maguire.
Oh, well,
No,
you
but
said
okay.
so.
Let's say the question was, if who out of the top standard 6 would be interesting to watch
Out of the big leagues?
out of the big leagues?
Okay. So, yeah, all right. That's a good way to reframe it. Top leagues. And you're trying to get to watch football. Which player time to follow? Out of the top leagues, like Marco
the
said.
top leagues. Mm,
Davies comes to mind. I think Davies.
Alphonso
could
Davies?
Davies
be
is a
good
good
one.
one. Vinny,
Okay.
Valverde.
Nah, maybe Jude. Musiala. Man's very
Musiala's a
skillful
good
on the
shout.
ball.
Okay.
Like
Oshiman.
Musiala.
Oshiman.
Actual player that's going to come out to be the next Zidane or this, that, or the other.
Well,
Like you can't, or Xavi or Henry. Like you're making it feel that there's no player that's gonna amount to be those kinds of players. Or are
Is
we
it
just
too- is
living
it
in
too early?
nostalgia? Are they not? Are we experiencing them now that we just don't realize it?
Well,
yet?
Is it too early?
Pedro and
Is it?
not Pedro.
It might be too
Pedri.
early. I mean, these kids are good, but they're still young. They're still a little raw.
Pedri and Gavi could definitely reach
Especially
the
those two rats
same
over in Barcelona.
reach the same limits to Iniesta and Xavi, but I mean they're still too young to actually decide that.
I don't know if you guys, especially it being a Champions League week, if you've been able to, because it's in the middle of the week, in the middle of the freaking day, but some of the insights that Henri gives on the CBS panel, like after he speaks, like you can just tell that's a completely different crop of player compared to what there is now, and not taking away from any of the talent or any of the accolades or achievements that these young ballers have already gotten to and eclipsed even some of these legends or icons, but just the way that he understands what needs to be done on the pitch, his analysis, just the way he talks about it, it's completely different. It's completely different. And kind of highlighting that, I think it might be even too early because a lot of these players are pretty young, and we're still, I guess, transitioning from that previous, I guess, generation, I would say. But yeah, man, like even shit, even a Van Persie, even like
Percy, fuck that guy.
even
I wish I watched him play.
I would even say like, and like there was a moment where there was these good players at like even smaller teams to their obviously to their respect, like even like I know you guys remember Dimitri Payet when he was freaking tearing shit up, and man, just like damn, bro.
I think it's still,
Alright, so
I think it's still too early.
Give me somebody who you don't want to watch, and then I want to ask Nick this question because I think he's about to walk down right now.
all right, cool.
So who somebody you don't want to watch?
To not watch?
To not watch that'd be like, oh, I'm not even watching this game. Like this is not even fun to
Oh,
watch.
Joey Barton.
that guy's retired
And,
by
and
now.
just keep
man.
it current players. Just keep it current players.
Yeah.
Current players? Okay, his son.
Yeah, I feel like we're going.
I don't even know if he has a son or is he's even playing.
Damn.
Current players
Yeah, I need some hate. I need some hate.
Yeah, that's, I don't know. That's
I-
also
Well, I'm gonna
hard.
pick it back on Marco, just based on this last game because it really annoyed the fuck out of me.
Now, is it just strictly Premier League?
Anybody,
No, anybody.
top league.
Koke. Koki.
Ooh.
That's a good one.
Oh.
DePaul.
Ooh.
Oh, the Paul.
DePaul.
I like DePaul, man.
Captain of the Atletico team, and yet he has nothing to show for.
You know, all right, Nick. So my question to the
That's just
guys
my
is:
opinion.
if you were to get and with the help of the guys on the bench right now, reframing it to make it better, if you were to get an alien who knows nothing about the sport into football, which player are you gonna tell him to watch and to not watch out of the top leagues? Right now, we're choosing who we don't want them to watch, so that way they don't hate the sport. But who would you tell them to watch if they want to love the sport?
Currently playing?
Currently playing. We'll do currently playing because that's where we all went nostalgic, and then we kind of got the pressure a bit, so we're kind of bring it to
Yeah.
Anywhere?
top leagues.
I think Nick's gonna say watch Henderson.
Mbappe.
Watch
That's easy.
watch Mbappe
Mbappe,
and
yeah.
not watch who?
Erling Haaland.
Oh,
Shit. Like, who would want to watch like 10 consecutive minutes of, tapping it in from the back post from De Bruyne?
damn, Nick is back, bro. Man had a good weekend. He's back.
It's true, though. I
Yeah,
mean,
he's back.
Like, why would you want to watch?
You know what? I don't want to watch Darwin Nunez, bro. He makes the game fun.
Good point. Very good
You
point.
know, you say about Liverpool, like Darwin Nunez, Liverpool.
Very good point. That's a
are
good
different
point.
team.
That's a good point.
Mm.
I would choose Mbappe, though, for sure. Who did everyone choose?
I chose Mbappe.
It was tough, bro.
It was tough. We ended up just pretty much all around
Marco wins
players from
soccer.
different leagues.
I'm gonna back him on that. I'm biased.
That's a very biased answer.
Yeah, I admit it.
Yeah.
But
You know
so
who
who
else?
would you? Oh, you said Haaland,
Jordi,
right?
Yeah,
Jordi Alba.
Sort of the.
Oh,
I mean, he was a
I don't like Jordi Alba.
he's a
bro.
great
Wait,
defender.
is that a
But-
biased answer or is that like a style of play answer?
That's both.
both.
Okay.
Mm,
All right. Well, we got the opening question out of the way. Let's get into some kickoff and famous last words.
Famous last words all day, every day.
Am I gonna say them?
Under
No.
an hour.
All right. I don't know if it'll be under an hour, but we'll try.
Well-
So first game I got here: Man City 2 versus Newcastle 0. Newcastle on a winless run out of top 4. Is Europa what we should expect from them, or are they gonna drop even deeper now?
I don't think they're gonna drop any deeper, but I think they're gonna stay right there.
Europa.
Europa,
Okay.
either 5th or 6th. Not sure which position because Liverpool is actually doing really well now.
Liverpool are ahead of them.
Yeah, so I just feel like Newcastle couldn't keep that consistency going for the remaining of the season. But they're still gonna do well in certain games. But I just think they're gonna stay right there.
Yeah. Last time Newcastle won the Premier League was against Fulham at home, 1-0 on January 15th.
And
That'll
then there's the
be-
games after that.
Huh?
Almost more
And the
than
games
2
after that,
months.
there were games they should have won.
Yeah, Palace draw in the league, West Ham draw, Bournemouth draw, Liverpool loss, and City loss on the league.
Yeah.
It could be lack of experience. Obviously most of these players, majority of these players haven't been in this position yet. Obviously Almiron has never been in this position, fighting for Champions League spots. So it could be that. I don't know what their depth is in terms of midfield, because obviously Bruno Guimaraes was missing a couple games because I think he got like a red in the EFL Cup or whatever. And then apart from like Joelinton, and then you have like Sean Longstaff, like,
Willock, Murphy.
yeah. So
They sold John Joe Shelby.
Yeah,
Sold or
yeah, where
loaned
is he
over
at
to-
now?
He's at Newcastle. Not
No,
Newcastle.
he's at Nottingham.
Forest. Nottingham
Nottingham.
Forest.
oh, okay, yeah. So
the
I
end.
mean,
Newcastle
it could
also
be a
has
lack of
Richie.
experience, which I wouldn't be
Yeah, Richie,
surprised,
yeah.
to be honest. Lack of experience also with Eddie Howe. He's never been in fighting for Champions League spot, so
Yeah, I think
That's true.
the intensity is getting to them. They haven't been in a place recently in recent years where they had to actually work hard to just maintain where they are. So that's getting to them.
But
There's a little fatigue there because they're not used to working so hard at this point in the season.
Yeah, but either way, no matter where they finish in the table, whether it's 4th, 5th, or 6th, it's a great run that they had
Oh, yeah,
compared to
absolutely.
last season and the season before that.
I think they still get Europe for sure.
Yeah.
Either 6th or 7th, they definitely get Europe.
Anything on Man City? Or are they trying to enter that run of form that we're all predicting from them, that they're just going to go on a win this run? Or do we still see some chinks in their armor?
I'd probably. I think I would say that they're struggling. There's something missing, and I think the biggest thing is that like they're not putting away these games the way they should. Obviously, they're picking up form, but again, at this stage of the game, like once we saw what was it that once we saw that draw previously with that Forest draw, correct? It's like they should be winning that easy. And then you got the freaking the freaking cyborg up front, and it's like if they can't take full advantage of that, I don't know. To me, I think there's gonna be maybe one or two stumbles left for that City team. Where it may come from, that I can't say, but there's just something about it that like it doesn't feel as convincing as previous seasons. Like even like, of course, when they went on the Centurion run and comparing it to their dominance of previous years, I feel like there's a few more speed bumps.
I agree with you. There's gonna be a few more speed bumps per city, but I'm just looking at it. They're still the only English team that could probably win the treble, because they're still in Champions League, they're still in FA Cup, and they're still in the run for the Premier League. So, and Man City have been known to, have that second wind, in the second part of the season. So I wouldn't sleep on them. Yeah, they could maybe have a few bumps on the road, but so can Arsenal. So I don't know.
But that trouble is something that they haven't accomplished in how many years, and they've been doing it for how long?
I mean, they
Like,
never accomplished the
That's
trouble.
what I'm saying.
But
I think it's a pattern. I feel like it's a pattern, or like at least based on what I've seen personally. I don't. I think they're gonna. There's still a few more stumblings, despite them being, I guess, in the running for all three things.
but I'm saying you can't sleep on them just yet.
So to Dyer's point, Arsenal almost slipped up this weekend, going 1-0 down to the first 8-9 seconds, leading to the second fastest goal in the Premier League.
9, yeah.
So that, and then going down by 2 goals in the 60th minute. Honestly, at that point, I was okay with the point. But for them to come back and then win it 3-2, let's go! Vamos! Vamos!
I still have yet to see that comeback.
Vamos!
I still have yet to see the replay.
You should definitely
watch it.
I have to.
It was nuts.
You should watch it, man.
was nuts.
I received a phone call, and there was definitely some tears involved. So I'll tell you that much. Won't give away any names, but yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because
It was like that.
It was like that, man. And I know it's
Wow.
Bournemouth, and I know, take it with a grain of salt. We should not be going down 2-0 at home to Bournemouth. And the fact that we're conceding at home a little frequently is getting me a little uneasy. But if there's any doubt in anybody's mind about this team's mentality, I think they've answered that question one too many times. And I think this is another example.
What was the score at the half?
2-0.
2-0. No. At the half 1-0. At the 60th minute, 2-0. They were leading.
I really want to know what Arteta said
Dude,
in that locker room.
I don't know. I don't know, man. But as soon as that first goal went in, and I can't say this again. I know this sounds like a broken record. We can't say this back then. Obviously, we can't say things back then. But as soon as Partey scored that goal and it was 2-1, there was hope. Like the hope, it just came back. Before, be like, oh, okay, like we'll see what happens. Then a draw, like a few minutes later, and then oh shit, we can actually get all 3 points. Again, I was ready to call it just for a point. I was in the mud. Man, I can't even explain the happiness I had that the Hell End kids were the ones that bailed us out. A Emil Smith throw with the assist to Partey at the back post. Reiss Nelson with the assist to Ben White, first goal of his Premier League career, career actually, which is a fucking amazing goal to have. And or not maybe not his career, but definitely for Arsenal. And then Reiss Nelson with a literally last second bang.
What was it?
It's-
92nd minute?
I saw that.
97th minute.
I saw that ball going to Reiss Nelson, and then for just a half a second, I thought, no way, and then he fucking hits it.
Dude, at that moment you just don't know. Like, I didn't know what to expect because he hasn't played. He hasn't been in the squad. Let alone coming in to save us 3 points against Bournemouth. I mean, as much as I enjoyed that game, I don't want to go through that again. So my question to you guys is: are these too many emotional games that are roller coaster rides for Arsenal? Is it too early to have it, or is this just part of the championship run?
I think it's just part of the championship run in Premier League. That's it.
That's the league.
That's the league. That's the Premier League, dude. It doesn't matter what position you're in. You see that anywhere. Like, I mean,
Any given day, that
Mhm.
last place team will just need to just give it that one little bit, and they'll come at you. So yeah, it's just the Prem. And
What
then
game was like that recently? I think it was maybe Everton Forest. Where it was like very back and forth,
Yeah.
and they were just getting at each other's throats, and they were just pushing on, and it means something different to them. But like I think it's yeah, I think it's a mixture of that. The one factor that I will reluctantly say honestly is like the very first thing that came out of like a lot of pundits, especially even Ian Wright, because I went to go listen to what he says because I like to look for that coverage after for post games.
They're so good at it.
And that panel is great.
Yeah.
And so he's like, listen, this is a, I'm paraphrasing, of course, but he's talking about like this is a demon they had to probably get rid of. This is like a monkey off their back. This is like the chip on their shoulder. This is typically around the time when results start to falter. Because I mean, granted, it's early, but it's March now. Like that's it. Like this is it. And there's a lot of managers that would talk about if you're within the top 2 spots, top 3, and you're still there come the last 2, like I'd say the last 2 months of the season, like that's the title race. And I've heard those kinds of quotes before. If you're still part of the conversation come April, come May, that's the title race. It doesn't matter what happens before. It doesn't matter like, the losses you take or maybe the points you drop. There's still time to make that up if you're within that conversation, if you're within that gap. So listen, I think it's like and of course like the like haters would be like, oh yeah, it's Bournemouth, oh it's the last place team, or like, oh they shouldn't be doing that. But I think there's at least some one thing that I will give credit for a lot is putting in Smith Rowe, seeing that he wasn't going to make it, and then being like, fuck, now I gotta sub off the sub and put in someone who I'm gonna gamble with just because like, you know what, it's worth it. And I think a throw of the dice in that sense, it made sense to hear people be like, okay, this is a game that they'll look back on. Tim Howard said that this is the game. If we get to May and they're lifting that trophy, this is gonna be like a 2-minute stop on the highlight reel of this game alone because they were able to get those 3 points. And then now they're back to parity because like obviously we talked about like how City had caught up, how Arsenal were having like that little moment again, speed bumps, some obstacles in the way that they get past, and then now that's a huge 3 points against obviously opposition that maybe they should have put it away. For myself, I had a freaking terrible fantasy fucking weekend because the main culprits, Saka, Odegaard, Martinelli, they all were basically like they just had a bad day at the office. They were like nullified. And then the only people I was telling, the only fucking people that nobody owns, at least in fantasy wise, were the ones on the score sheet and getting the assists and setting up the goals. So I think it's a long-winded answer, but I thought that it was like I was like, damn, this is specifically why at least we talk about this league so much because it gives you that kind of experience, whether it's at the top or at the bottom. So
and you also have to keep in mind Crystal Palace in 12th place at 27 points, only 6 points off the bottom place.
Wow.
It is extremely tight on that bottom half of the league.
Mhm.
So Bournemouth and everybody else above them, between them and Palace, still have quite a lot to play for. It's getting to that point in the season where if you're in a certain position number wise, then you can more or less gauge, okay, this is probably where we're going to end up. But for it to be March and there's still 6 points between 20th and 12th, that's huge. All these teams are gonna have so much to play for, and it's gonna be tough.
There's definitely a title run and a relegation run going on in both times, and it feels nice knowing that before Jesus got injured, we were 5 points clear of City. Now that he's about to make his return, we're still 5 points ahead of City, and that shows that we have depth because not only did we play with our third string, we also played with our fourth string striker in this same game because Trossard came off injured. Eddie Nketiah's out. Obviously, Gabriel Jesus is out, so Martinelli had to fill the role. So it shows that we're a lot more diverse than I was actually expecting us to be. And like Diego said, unlikely scores, other people picking up the slack, and people coming in to make an impact, which is amazing to watch. And my guy, Jorginho, my guy, on the sidelines,
fucking Georgie.
coaching, telling them, instructing them where to go.
He's
props
visionary.
up.
You see him as a future coach?
I can see him and Shaka as future coaches just by the personality. Like I can't see, for example, Messi or Ronaldo as coaches. I cannot see that. I don't think they have the personality for it. But when I look at Shaka and Jorginho, I think I see the personality there. But nah, man, I'm just ecstatic about this comeback. Still with a grain of salt. Nick, did you guys have any games like this when you guys had your championship run, where it was just like last minute comeback?
There was one Mane last minute against Villa. Well, I'm really good at I can recall every scoreline.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
What
You have, like,
about
photographic memory.
the Everton game with Origi?
Oh,
That was the previous season.
Was that the previous
shit.
season?
Unless you say title winning, but
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
terms of challenging, yeah, Everton. Everton.
That's a big one too, because that was just
Oh, yeah,
so.
Everton.
That was a freak incident, and he was just there to pounce on the opportunity.
Tottenham.
Give him margins.
I remember that Tottenham goal. Trent Cross. Salah headed it off your Reiss, hit Toby Alderweireld.
All right, Nick, all right, tranquilo, bro. We're not
remember.
talking about the season no more.
Yeah.
I just asked you a simple question, and you're gonna go in a
I
fucking
can
hole.
recall every game from those 2 seasons. That's me.
My man came with a new energy today, bro. Came with a brand new energy today. But yes, let's move on from that. Anything else from that game that you guys want to touch on, or anything that caught your eye
Some good pictures that I saw on Twitter.
as far as?
The celebrations
Oh man,
from the stadiums.
I've been injecting that into my veins all.
You heard
fucking-
the FA investigation about the celebrations too?
over. Yo, you see that
And
kid
then-
that walked into the field? Arteta dapped him up and was like, "Oh shit, what the fuck are you doing here? I got to
Yeah.
take you off." Like,
Yeah.
And
dude.
Varnmouth came to play.
How many incidents was that? 3?
It was a lot.
The penalties?
4?
It was 4.
4, right? 4
it
VAR
four?
incidents.
Four, yeah, 4. Because I think it was 3 handballs.
I mean, there was
and
like
then
two
Tommy
back-to-back.
I thought that handball definitely was gonna be.
Dude, I
called,
thought
'cause
one of
that's
them.
been called all
Bro,
season.
the punch, the Neto punch on
Ben
Ben
White.
White?
I wasn't even looked at.
Yeah.
nobody
wasn't
saw
looked
that
at,
because
but
we were
dude-
focusing on the handball.
So many VAR calls. I was expecting one to go our way. I was like, come on, just throw us one little bone, like, please. Nothing. Just let us to fucking suffer. But you know what? Thank you for giving us the extra time
Yeah,
for
well,
all that time wasting.
we can always say
It
that they never
backfires.
they never threw us a bone, bro.
Yeah, he definitely threw us the bone, and I got a boner thinking about that game actually. But let's move on to the man who found his magic back. He got his swagger back. Graham Potter, 1-0 versus Leeds.
What a fluke.
I know. Today was Champions League, and we'll save that conversation for tomorrow. But just real quick, they won tonight. So is this? Are we seeing Chelsea coming back from the ruins, or are the legs of Joao Felix? Your boy, I'm forgetting his name right now. Enzo. Not Mujo because he didn't play today. Havertz has gone to the score sheet. Are we seeing them? Sterling, are we seeing them come to life now? Is Graham Potter waving his wand and getting the best from these players now?
I don't think so. I don't think they should have struggled against fucking Leeds, man. And I say that just because recognizing also that they had some unlucky moments in that game, but 1-0 against the Leeds that what was it? They've had one win in the last 12 games. I'm just throwing that out there. I think they should have dispatched them, but again,
Can't
they
you say
did
the
win.
Same for Arsenal, though?
Huh?
Can't you say the same for Arsenal?
In regards to,
Struggling against Bournemouth.
I guess so, but the idea here is that, like, man, I think I think it's precedence that's the difference, because Arsenal have been doing it and Chelsea have not. And so in order to kickstart that, I guess that form or that run, whatever you want to call it, it takes at least having a very comfortable if not comfortable, at least convincing win against a team that at least this season has struggled terribly against other opposition, especially top opposition. They haven't gotten really anything their way. Of course, it was possible for Leeds to get the double over them because of the previous result. So I don't know. I think it was slim pickings for Potter in that 1-0 win.
I will tell you this though. I know Chelsea fans on Twitter said that their best period under Potter was like maybe early mid-October, like when they beat AC Milan or whatnot. And what they did play was a 3-4-3, and for some reason he like strayed away from that. And then in this game against Leeds at home, he went back to a 3-4-3. And then obviously we're not going to talk about them against Dortmund, but he also played a 3-4-3 tonight. So it may seem like he has found his consistency formation and maybe a set of players that he does like to play those set rules. And so maybe we can start like some more consistency in terms of his selections.
So Potter finally went like, oh, this is
It
what I'm
finally-
supposed to do.
It finally clicked, and for his sake, not for Chelsea's sake, for Potter's sake, I hope it sticks. I mean, we'll have to see what comes next. I mean, just their next 5 games, 3 of them are at home, so this is a crucial time in the crucial part of the season. So if he has found that formation and that starting 11. I mean, yeah, they he finally got Chilwell back. Reece James played tonight, I believe. So, for Potter's sake, if he did find that formation and that right set of players, then hopefully it can go well for him. But it's by all means not an easy run. They're away to Leicester, home to Everton, Villa, and Liverpool back to back to back, and then away to Wolves. So it's gonna be tough.
I sort of watched the game today. One thing that did stand out to me is Cucurella finally looked like a player that can play. So to Nick's point, maybe he did find his consistent set of players. And should we be worried? I don't know. We will soon find out. Let's move on to this game and find out about a team that none of us should really worry about because they do what they do during the week, on the weekend, which is Spurs 1-0 away to Wolverhampton.
Over to you, Dyer.
1-0.
That's your cue. Cue cards back there, producers.
I plead the fifth.
Oh,
Damn, my man was quickly chirping in the chat the other
that's
day.
what I'm saying.
Chirping about what?
Hey, but listen, now's your time. 1-0 to Wolves. Adama Traore getting the best of this team. What's going on?
Honestly, it was just a really good game. I mean, Spurs did have the attack. They hit the crossbar and post 3 times, and Sa made pretty good saves also. So he was on his game. Wolves they were just a better team defensively. Spurs, they were playing decently in the defense. Is just like a rebound that Traore was able to connect really well with the inside of his foot and send it to the far post away from
He hit
from
that
Foster.
first time.
He hit that first time over Christian Romero's head. So I'm not disappointed in the game from Spurs because they actually did play good. Did they play well like how they did against Chelsea? No. But like I said, it's just a consistency that they're lacking. Going at Wolves is always tough for anybody. So I mean, just got okay.
Wait, can I ask you a question though?
What's up?
And we probably have asked you this before. So, what is your take on Antonio Conte in this current moment?
I mean, I don't know.
Can I follow that up with a second question? Why aren't you guys going for a piece of silverware in the FA Cup and resting key players? Is that Antonio Conte's doing?
I mean, it has to be. He's the head coach, and he's the one that's calling the second string coach. I mean, the assistant coach. I forgot his name, to be honest.
Fake fan. Christian Stellini.
Okay, thank you,
We looked it up.
thank you. See, this is why on the show I should start calling myself and I'm Josue, aka Get Banter on, because that's all I get. Anyways. Either way,
Never too late to change your team, and that'll go down significantly.
Why don't you just become like a full-time Madrid supporter?
I am full-time Madrid supporter,
No, but like,
but this
You
is
know what I mean.
Be a Premier League neutral.
I can't be a Premier League
Everybody
neutral.
hates those, but
I
just
can't be a
one.
Premier League neutral. I can't. No,
They're
it's
all
not happening.
options that still get him hated on.
Yeah.
So it's not even like a good thing. What about
He loves trophyless Kane too much.
what about like one of the things that I had looked at, and again, fantasy perspective, I know I say that a lot, but Kane and then a plethora of a bunch of random scorers because you have Skip, Betancourt, Emerson Royale, Kulusevski.
Pigeon.
Richarlison hasn't scored, and I think maybe
He hasn't scored in the Premier League yet.
I don't
He's-
think he's
he's-
scored since I was gonna say since the restart after World Cup, but
No, the
Even
game
worse.
the game that
yeah, it's worse.
the only game that I can remember him scoring was his brace against Marseille at home in Champions League, and that was in group stage before the World Cup.
and that's the only way he scored
Yeah.
goals.
I feel like the attacking lineup, they're just, I don't know, is to be. You're asking me questions.
He's like, well,
I
you
got-
answer first.
I got no answer for any of these questions. Conte, he's just.
Conte out or no?
Yeah.
Really?
I mean,
Yeah.
what Tottenham fan wouldn't be right now? To be honest.
Honestly speaking, because again, and the reason why I asked after what you asked because Conte's there win trophies. You guys haven't won a trophy, and the only competition you're truly in is the FA Cup. And then you rest your key players for the FA Cup and get knocked out of the FA Cup. It's like, do you not want to win a trophy?
That's where I don't understand like their logic in choosing players of what, because I feel like they think they have the depth to perform in every single game. We don't. That's why when I saw the starting lineup against Sheffield, I was like, I'm not sure about this. But then I see the starting lineup for Wolves. I'm like, okay, you're leaving Dyer out and putting Longlet in. I mean, I wouldn't say it's like one's player is better than the other. I feel like they're both equally. Can't say good.
Trash. Oh, okay.
Trash. Yeah. Um, and then Emerson Royale, he was benched because he got a knock in training, so that's why he was benched. But also,
Spent $1 million for his training and he can't be fit.
Oh,
Crazy.
Pedro Porro, he had a nice free kick hit off the crossbar. It's just the inconsistency with Spurs. That's all I can say. Conte out, yes. Who would they bring in? I would be happy to bring Pochettino back. Not gonna lie, because he's the only manager that we almost came close to any kind of success. So that's all my take. Wolves played a good game. How about this? Tottenham played a good game. Wolves played a better. That's it. I saw a good game from Spurs.
All right. Well, look, if you're good to move on from that, are we done bantering? Banter me, Josue. I guess so. So I think we can move on to the next banter. Wait, so look, before we get into this segment,
Oh, Brentford Fulham, right?
before we get into this segment, I was sent a message by a viewer to get you guys something.
I hope you bring it out. I really do.
So should I do that, or I also received a video of something as well. So I don't know. What do you guys want first? Do you want the video first?
So this is why he told a certain someone to make sure he watches the.
No, I
live
wanted him
stream.
to be on.
Oh.
I wanted him to be
Okay,
on,
okay.
but he hates me. So,
Okay.
because I would have figured he would have enjoyed today's episode. But he doesn't show up anymore. It's all good though. We love you, Ever. Yeah. So what do you guys? Would you want to see the video first? Would you want to see?
Yeah, we can watch the video first.
I'm gonna send it to you guys because I received it. And I'll send it to you guys now. If I have it, I thought I had it. I do have it. Here it is. So let me know when you got it all pulled up, and then I'll play the audio into the micro. Oh no, Marco will do it. The crack producer is back.
Damn.
Crack producer is back.
He didn't even say anything. I got
it.
Yeah.
Hey, in my defense, I told Diego that I could do the same exact thing, but he's like, no, don't worry about
Marco's
it.
got that aura, bro.
So when you guys are ready, Marco, let us know when you're gonna key it off, so that way everybody watching at home is on the same time that we are. I'm gonna lower the volume. Can we hear it?
No.
Okay, so we can't hear it. Okay, so you guys might want to raise your volume then.
Oh, okay.
Let us know when.
Whenever you guys are ready.
Let us know.
Ready? All right. Start playing it in 3, 2.
What do you rank Gabriel in terms of center backs in the Premier League?
I would say probably top 5.
No. Is he the best center back in the Premier League this season?
In
No.
current,
Let's not forget a certain 5'9", 4'11". I don't know what
mean,
size he is nowadays.
I'm
6 foot now that he's standing on top of the Carabao Cup since it's small.
I do think there's a best center back duo going on. I do
Fair point.
believe it's between
Yeah, that's fair.
Gabriel and Saliba versus Lisandro Martinez and Varane.
Some of these goals are so comical, bro.
Some.
Applause.
now.
Can I say something? Before this video was made,
He's like, let me get out of this real
like,
quick.
before this video was made, I legit during the game I said, "Can I take back from what I said about the comment that I
Hindsight's a
said?"
wonderful thing,
Hindsight's
bro.
2020, bro.
No, I think I
Nobody
would've-
remembers
I
that,
would've
but everybody will
Martinez
remember the
either.
video.
That guy didn't put that. Somebody didn't put that in there. But
You
Why
couldn't
not?
put that in the video.
I didn't make the video.
They
Who made the video?
Don't worry about it.
They
But
didn't put it in the video.
I
It's okay.
was sent a message to get you guys something specific. So
Yeah, I know.
Well,
'cause-
is it
'cause
a dunce cap?
No, it wouldn't be. It wouldn't be a Liverpool fan if he didn't follow whatever character it is. So yeah,
Ginger ale.
yeah, man.
The fuck is wrong with you, bro?
This is my sponsored drink for the week.
They got a 7-Up
Oh,
request.
our 7-Up
nice.
drinks.
Cool.
Our 7-Up
Let's see
drinks.
how many grams of sugar it has.
I won't drink it. It'll just sit there.
63 grams of sugar.
Someone else better drink it.
Damn.
It's all good. It's all good.
Oh man, that was I'm being that asshole. Don't take that from me. That was definitely requested. So I don't know if they're watching. If you're watching, there's your
Pride.
request.
With pride.
Yeah, go on.
Right.
A tu salud. A tu salud.
We move on.
Maybe not health. I don't know.
We
Yeah.
move on. We keep going.
Yeah.
On to the next one. I feel sorry for Real Betis on Thursday. I feel sorry for them.
I hope
Watch
so.
your words, guy. Watch your words, cause.
This is
well,
true.
Just watch
Yeah,
that
you gotta
video.
talk. We gotta talk. We gotta talk.
But no, that's very fair. You stand by your team. Before we get into the United side of things, let's quickly talk about Liverpool and Darwin Núñez and Cody Gakpo. Are they finding their form right now? Is this game gonna catapult them for the remainder of the season to find that form, to find that finishing touch, to drive them into top 4?
It would be very typical Liverpool if they were to lose to Bournemouth this week, and I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest.
I thought Nick was back for a second. I guess not.
But-
no, bro, no.
but-
He has to play conservative because the
Purple-
thing is that it's
Purple
true.
patch. Purple patch.
I
It
think
is
it's
true. It
true.
is true.
It's true.
What? Purple patch performance. United tax.
Best center back.
United tax.
United tax, bro.
Hey, look,
United
they
one-off
conceded-
tax.
They
United one-off
conceded
tax.
7 more goals than Liverpool's
Yes.
worst center back
Yes,
partnership.
yes, yes, yes.
United one-off tax.
Baby on ice, Joe Gomez, Van Dijk, Aura defending.
We'll get to that. We'll get
And
to
they
that.
conceded more.
We'll get to that.
I don't
We'll
know,
get to
man.
that.
But
Look, if anything, if I'm gonna compare Lisandro to anybody, it's like Mustafi. You know, they're both World Cup winners, but
they're both a little short. You know, but,
oh yeah, Mustafi was a little short on the shorter end.
Yeah.
Center
They
back.
both held.
but either way, though, good performance, great performance from Cody Gakpo. I was very, very impressed. In terms of the way he would link a play, the way he would use his body frame. He's 6'4", 6'5", and those 2 finishes were like out. Like my word, like they were like borderline Mbappe on Reiss. Just first, like the first one, he would just cut in, just one touch, boom. De Gea had no chance, side netting. Gakpo's second goal, it was
That chip
just
was
a little
that
chip,
that
like-
chip was even better than the first one, to be honest.
like I didn't like between like Mane, Salah, Firmino, Jota, Nunez. I don't think any of those players could pull off that finish. Gakpo's second dink. Like I was just, and I wasn't surprised from his 2 finishes because that's his best attribute, his ball striking and his finishing. If you look at his 3 goals in a World Cup, majority of his goals at PSV Eindhoven,
Mm-hmm.
they're on real finishes. Like the way he would generate so much power with that much backlift, the placement, everything. And then onto the other forward, Darwin. You guys already know I'm one of his biggest fans. He was actually pretty poor in the first half, and I mean he didn't do much the whole game, but he did put away those 2 chances and just being there, little head boom. And then he did, I think, cause Salah's second goal. But yeah, in terms of those 2, in terms of those 2 attackers, it's interesting because obviously the majority of Liverpool fans didn't think that Gakpo would perform in that center forward role, and obviously Darwin Núñez is playing out on the left. And so actually today it came out that Van Dijk said that Firmino, who is leaving this summer, is trying to teach Cody Gakpo how to play that false 9 role. So it does come into terms where maybe Pep Linders and Jurgen Klopp did know prior to signing Cody Gakpo that they would try to play him in that false 9 role. And so it's just interesting to see how those 2 players are playing in the position that they were playing for Benfica or PSV Eindhoven, and they're performing really well. But yeah, those 2 forwards, it's interesting. I'm not gonna say they're gonna be Firmino, Mane-esque, but it does look promising because they do gel well pretty well and do interplay a lot. Nunez comes in into the center. Gakpo obviously is more comfortable or as comfortable out on the left because he can cut in. So it does look promising. And obviously Salah is Salah. Like the guy is like when he takes off his shirt, like that sounded mad sus.
Hey,
Yeah,
yo!
he
That's
a
red.
water.
Man wins
You
one
turning
game.
red.
Pink
He's
right
red.
You gotta take a drink after that.
You got to right
Facts.
there.
No, I ain't drinking that. That's what this guy right
That's
next to
alright,
left of me.
that's
But yeah, Salah, like the guy's body is like unreal. Like the guy can play probably to like mid 35, 36. Like the guy looks unreal. I can't lie. So Salah, he'll probably keep doing what he does 2-3 years at a high level. So in terms of the front 3, it's looking pretty promising. To answer your front 3 question.
Now, do you feel like top 4 is a lot? Well, it's always been a possibility, but do you? Is that what you're expecting? I know before you said you don't want any of that shit.
Yeah, I
But-
mean, I'm expecting them to get top 4 because
Okay.
I mean, if you look at Newcastle, like in the past 5 to 6 games, I think if you look at Newcastle, Liverpool, obviously Brighton, yeah,
It means so you're not
yeah.
going to taunt them out.
I would knock Tottenham out, to be honest. And whatever. If they make top 4, whatever, karma. I could give 2 shits, whatever. Newcastle, they haven't been performing pretty well. That's like consensus for the past month and a half. And obviously, Brighton is Brighton. So I think out of those 4 teams, if I were to say past 5 to 6 games, Liverpool do look the strongest because this is, 5 Premier League clean sheets in a row. And I think out of like one game, I would say like they were lucky to get a clean sheet. Like I think the Everton game, they deserved a clean sheet. Newcastle, they didn't deserve a clean sheet, to be honest. Newcastle outplayed them for 3/4 of the game. Who else did they play? Wolves, they deserved a clean sheet. I think United maybe score 1 goal, but I would say like second half majority or maybe second half of the first half, that makes sense. They might have deserved a clean sheet. So I would say they have been defending pretty well, to be honest. So yeah, I think out of those 4 teams, I think Liverpool have to get top 4. I think they look the most prepped. They're about to get Luis Diaz back. More players, obviously Dado and Gakpo starting to gel a little bit more. And the defense is starting to look solid, so it's more like identity there. So I would say, yeah, probably, yeah.
Is there any extra, and I'm gonna go to you, Gap, first. Is there any extra bitterness that you had 2 braces from, well, actually 3 braces by Darwin, Gakpo, and Salah, and then Firmino to top it off? So you have 2 Manchester targets scoring the goals.
I mean, of course, it's gonna be there. It's always gonna be there. I know more so on a fantasy side, which I'm sure Diego will allude to. But there's definitely a little bitterness. But I mean, at the end of the day, it was deserved. We were absolute dog shit.
What changed in this game compared to the previous run of games that you guys were having? Because you guys, not too long ago, was a quadruple run, and then we see a 7-0 result. Which, not to say it knocks you guys out of the contention, because you guys are still very much in it. It could just be that one-off game, but yeah, this result is.
Yeah, I mean that's where it's hard to really say, at least for me. I mean, I don't really know. I mean, are they really still, I guess, hungover from the Mickey Mouse Cup? I mean, that's a stupid thing to say. I mean, I honestly, there's just no, for me, there's no way to pinpoint. They just weren't there at all. I mean, they were there for maybe 10, 15 minutes of the first half. Rashford had a couple chances that he couldn't put away, and then after that, after maybe the 3rd goal probably, and they just all it capitulated entirely, and they just gave up completely.
Listen, I'm just glad because of the result, not because it's obviously rivals United, just the hype that not United teams but United individuals are receiving. I was hearing obviously center back partnership, best in the league.
Best left back in the league, Luke Shaw.
Best left back in the league, Luke Shaw. I'm not gonna discredit Rashford. He's still amazing, but some of the outlandish takes, like best center back, best left back.
Well, I know Marco enjoyed the Karen Fernandez one.
Yeah, I know Marco definitely enjoyed that. The Karen Fernandez one. But just some of the hype I was seeing, I was like, my word. I want to talk about one man though, and I swear, if these 2 gentlemen, these nice gentlemen, don't agree with me on here, it's blasphemous to honor Stephen A. Smith. So this one man that I am referring to is Anthony.
Oh,
the guy is not good, bro. And this is not even like just as a Liverpool fan, and the most United fans that I've seen on social media aren't even like I'm seeing most United fans on social media say this Anthony guy is like by the way, he hasn't created a big chance in the Premier League at all this season. His expected assists is ridiculously low, and he's only created 7 key passes. And by the way, Anthony is not that kind of forward where he's like Salah or Mane, where his main objective is bring the ball out wide forward, touchline winger. Then main objective is to score goals. His main objective or his main role is to get the ball on his left foot and supply passes and create chances and play make. And albeit he doesn't have a number 9 like a Victor Osimhen or even a Darwin who can get their body in and get their head onto the ball. But I don't think it's no excuse for just because Boy Weghorst isn't that kind of player for Anthony's poor playmaking where he was brought into that. I'm sure United fans knew that Anthony isn't going to come in and score goals like Salah does because of his inside forward. But Anthony was brought in to just play make because that is the kind of player he is. He's not fast. He's not a very good shooter. But who he is good at is obviously dribbling and taking on players and creating space. And that was just not what he's been able to do. So I want to bring it to you guys. What is your take and what are your thoughts on Anthony? And What is your future vision for him?
I stand by my boy.
I do too, man. Even if it's a hill I die on, because the other thing is,
Oh man.
I don't
'Cause
think they've ever blasted the players.
the other thing is that
They have a
especially this is a great game to highlight his weaknesses, and I think that's a good way to put it, because he doesn't have the technical inclination to take on a player, exactly like how you said. He doesn't have that, I guess, burst of speed to beat a player, because he always slows the game down. He tries to drag, I guess, a marker or two towards him. And clearly, at least the one thing that I saw, which was glaring, and I freaking delved into how the hell this happened, aside from like the morale and them giving up, whatever,
I'm not tracking
the
back.
the specific act of not tracking back and allowing, well, I think it was three of those. I would categorize three of those goals as counterattacks that were left immediately after even a possession on a corner kick. And it's like, you had Bruno at one point on the left against Trent, and then he switches over to the other side, and it wasn't effective at
Or some-
all.
yeah.
So it's like, again, I think I have to agree that it showed a glaring weakness that Anthony does have, which is that ability to be able to make that play on his own, because he hasn't been able to connect. I could easily hide behind like, oh, Veghorst isn't meant to do that. He's not like a complete striker. He's not supposed to be putting away chances. But again, I think if anything, it's a good example, at least a mirror that he can use to show what his deficiencies are. Which I didn't expect to see that, obviously, because it's like, okay, if we pay that much for him, and if he's meant to do these things, he's supposed to be able to do them regardless of whoever's in front of him or around him. Otherwise, he wouldn't have cost that much. But again, I think there's no hiding from it. That's all criticism that not just like as a fan I would have to agree with, but I guess as a player he has to also keep in mind that he doesn't have those qualities. He doesn't have those capabilities to be able to do that.
Yeah, and the reason why I call this out is because the statistics is like obviously the eye test or whatnot, or whatever statistic, but like the fact that he's not created a single big chance in the Premier League this season for the kind of player he is, who is that kind of creative player, like I just said, very low expected assists and only 7 key passes in the whole Premier League campaign. Like that's got to be worrying. Like for some players, I've always had my rule where if you're not showing anything in the first season, you'll most likely flop in your career. To be honest. Yo, there's no way, bro.
Oh my god.
Well, either way, continue. I haven't seen much from Anthony. Obviously, he scored in his debut. Home to Arsenal. He scored against Barca the other week. Obviously the banger against City, but United were down like 4-0 or 3-0 or 3. I don't even know. But my point being is that he hasn't really shown much to really say there's a player there. There's a serious player in there. I don't know if you guys would agree.
Is he
Like for example, like I look at Darwin, for example. I look at his cameo against Fulham when he came on. The absolute like brute force that he scored a goal. He assisted Salah's goal in the Community Shield. He came on like in the 60th minute, just drove at City defenders, caused the penalty, scored the goal. Like I look at even with you guys like bannering Darwin, but I always looked at him like there's a player in there.
Yeah.
And I think now I'm not gonna say he's gonna whatever, but he's starting to come like be more comfortable with himself, and he's starting to come to light a little bit more. I'm just wondering where if you guys don't see that kind of thing in that player, what will you call out? What will you call that out?
I kind of get like Nicolas Pepe vibes with him.
And it's interesting you say Pepe because Pepe obviously I think most Arsenal fans would agree that in maybe his first half year there wasn't any signs that he would show anything, but he did have the occasional goals or assists or the brace. Like remember his goal against Brighton.
Mm-hmm.
He showed up big against the FA Cup final against City and against Chelsea.
Yeah.
And so, like
It
I don't
wasn't
know, like
consistent, but there were signs there. At least what you're saying with Anthony, there's no signs of like really much going on.
I think with Pepe there were no signs. I can't lie
Mhm.
of him being like a hit, like to
Oh, no,
justify his
yeah.
price tag. But
Yeah,
what I'm
no,
trying
no.
to say is that even if he didn't show signs in his first half year, he
produced.
still contributed and he still
Mm,
produced a
okay.
decent amount of goals and assists,
Yeah.
and was very influential in Arsenal winning that FA Cup. And in his that was Pepe's second season.
Arteta's. I know,
Yeah, Arteta's
Pep,
first season.
Pep's, I know, Pep Arteta, similar, no.
So from Nick's point of view, it seems like Anthony is another player to not watch for an alien.
Unless you like seeing little spins and then little.
A fidget spinner.
little
They just spend it all day, baby.
But I don't know. Like, what's your like take on him? Like, surely, like, I think you compare him to like a Jadon Sancho, where obviously, same as a Sancho, he's not really a goal scorer out wide forward, but he's more there to create and play make. I know Sancho's been pretty decent ever since he came back, but I mean,
Would you consider? When would you consider him a flop?
Anthony?
When would you
No, I-
consider it?
I mean, for me, Sancho's a flop already. I can't lie.
Shit.
I said in the beginning of the season, I'm dropping all Sancho stocks.
You did, and then he like.
In
scored
terms of
the week
Anthony,
after.
if you want to call him flop halfway through the year, whatever. But I'm just trying to say that there's no signs that, like the guy is just like, he just hasn't been doing anything. You know what I mean?
I think he still has time to be able to prove that. It's unfair to say that personnel around him does affect that form, or at least the way he's supposed to play. But I do see the point you're making with him and Sancho having similar profiles, that they need that space to operate because they're not going to make it for themselves. And so if you have a forward that's tucked in all the time, or if you have your main playmaker on the opposite side of the pitch who's literally sending balls your way, the only person that's left to run is Rashford. So and we saw that in that Liverpool game, he was canceled out because he wasn't given no space to do anything. He wasn't given any space behind to run. He wasn't given any space in between to get past, I guess, like that line that Liverpool had, which was crazy. But it also gave them the chance to, on those, like, again, it was questionable on those short corners. I don't know why that all of a sudden came into play against Liverpool. I don't know where that came from.
Yeah, Liverpool have been horrendous on set pieces as well this season.
But so like
it's
to see United try a short corner out to Shaw, back to Bruno, and then that cross gets intercepted right by the half moon, and then you're out. It's what 3-on-3, 4-on-3 with some of like the fastest runners in this league in Salah and at least Darwin, I guess, because they do have that speed. I would even give that attribute to Gakpo just because of his stride. So it's like they got ate up on that. But I'm digressing from at least the style of play. I think it's not good for him being able to speak for himself, because obviously that's the point. That's the point that we're making. But at least the point that I'm making is that I would hope that for the remainder of this season, he has a chance to be able to prove that. Of course, it's going to take him adapting from that. And I believe that it's also what he's been used to. Because if he had a system in Ajax where everybody's moving around and buzzing around the pitch, where that's supposed to be what it was, a possession-based system. And then in this one, I think they've tried a lot of counterattacking. They've tried a lot of breakaways. They've tried a lot of sending fast runners in behind, whether it's Rashford or even Garnacho. Alongo we haven't seen too much of, but that's why he's been successful with experimenting in freaking Weghorst taking the 10 role, because he's like, all right, I'm going to have this guy just mesh it up in the middle. Even if he's not attracting a marker or two, he's going to at least get in the way. So that way, whoever pulls with him or whoever he's going to pull, there's space behind that player. They weren't taking advantage of that. So at what time I'd call him a flop. If he doesn't crack, what is he on right now? I think he's on 3 goals.
Mhm.
If he doesn't crack if he can't crack 5, if he can't crack, I think it would be also for his price, he should be hitting 10. And I would say all competitions. And there's still a chance to do that because there's still FA Cup, there's still Europa. I don't know. I would like to see what happens with Betis. There were some people, and I'm going to almost start hijacking, but instead of having the whole apology letters, it was a bit nice just to see Garnacho be like, sorry, we were shit. We're going to get a result. Like, that's it. Keep it pushing. And that's the way that I see it. So,
Yeah.
Hey, short answer, end of the season. If he doesn't get 5, that's a flop already. It would be nice to see if maybe a change in system or personnel could allow him to play. But that's the thing. You've paid for him, so he's got to be able to play regardless who's around him.
I mean, I look at Garnacho. He came in winner against Fulham away. I haven't watched him much this season, to be honest, but I know for was it Rashford, the FA Cup against who'd you guys recently? West Ham, right?
West Ham.
Who didn't he like come on and score or something like that? And then there was like some other game, because I was watching Rashford's all goals yesterday, and there was like some other game where he didn't provide the assist for Rashford, but he would take players on and he would draw them away. So I'm trying to say is that Garnacho came in, immediate impact.
And he's doing that,
Yeah.
of course.
And obviously left winger, it's a lot easier to impact the game as a sub in my opinion, because against tired legs, but yeah, I don't know. Like Anthony,
You're
See,
dropping
doesn't move
Anthony
me.
Stocks too?
I never had Anthony
Oh,
Stocks.
Oh, you never had
I never
Anthony
had
Stocks.
Anthony Stocks.
I do want to ask you. Well, I have a tinfoil hat moment. I think I know why this game ended 7-0. That question is a Liverpool fan.
Yeah, I saw that. I can't believe
He is
that.
actually.
He's a bona fide Liverpool fan.
Yes, he is.
He is actually.
He went up there with the Liverpool team, had to sign, wishing them good luck, and then did absolutely everything he could to make sure the result went that way.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But aside from that, my actual question is on Bruno Karen Fernandez, and is this him complaining constantly, not tracking back? I'm sure you guys have seen the videos of him rather than tracking
On the
back.
6th goal, yeah.
There's a couple of them where he, instead of just doing any sense of defending, he just bitches at the referee. And the only time I saw him really sprint was to argue with the referee. He's the captain of your team. If he's not putting those extra the meters in on the pitch, then you're gonna see Anthony, who he gives away the ball on the opposite end, just like throws his hands up in the air and just watches it go back. Is this the captain you guys want? And was Ten Hag talking about him when he said unprofessional? Or obviously him and the whole team, but he's the captain, he's the leader. He's got to represent the team in a certain way.
Yeah, his quote for the post-match presser was, it wasn't one or two players. It was 11 players that I saw on the pitch that were completely unprofessional because they lost their heads. And he's like, I'm surprised that this even showed up because I've never seen this side of them.
This is not Manchester
Even, and he included, at least he alluded to those two losses, the 2-1 at home to Brighton and the 4-0 away to Brentford. It's like, I haven't seen this side of them where they just got deflated, gave up. And it's like, you could talk about body language, you could talk about all that. As far as, do I want that kind of a person as a captain? The short answer is no, because then eventually, if a game doesn't go perfectly or their way, then you have to start to deal with that. Like, oh, damn, is this person going to lose their head? Are they going to make like a harsh tackle? Are they going to like let the other team fucking run up the score? And like, of course, it's not Bruno's fault particularly, but it is a catalyst to everyone else just being like, well, if he's not fucking doing it, why would I be busting my ass to run back if our captain's supposed to be doing that? I do want to recognize though that I don't think it's going to change anything. At least if I were the person in charge of picking who the coach, who the captain is for the team, I wouldn't strip him of it. I don't think that whatever decision had put Maguire as captain for the team officially, that's already set. I think it's just to not rock the boat, them lifting up the trophy together, whatever. It was like, okay, you have this on paper. We're going to respect that. So that way this person, like, there's no, like, even a slight chance of that being upset or whatever. That he was dealing with leaks earlier, because I remember that he had put out, like, a different team sheet during one of the games. And then it ended up being a completely different 11 that started, like, that kickoff. So it's like, I'd rather back Bruno for what he can do on the pitch and not for this fault that he clearly has. That, like, some people call it passionate, some people call it absolutely like devoted to the game or whatever, but it comes out in him. And I think
some people call it bad antics.
some people call it antics. Yeah, some people call it antics. Other
aren't.
people call it just passion with spelled PASHUN in all caps. So. Like that, and I think that's it. I think he's done enough during the season to be able to merit that. So, I wouldn't strip him of it. I think all of them, and there was so much that I wanted to look into because, like, I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but like the fact that they ran the least amount of distance since that Brentford loss for this game, the fact that they got countered for, I would like to say the majority of those 7 goals. Yeah, whatever. It's funny that there's freaking 2 goals literally where they like make silly attempts to clear it and it just bounces off a player and falls right to the Liverpool attacker to be able to finish it, which they still have to finish regardless. I think Firmino being able to finish underneath De Gea for that 7th goal is also comical. It was like a final dagger. So there was it's so clickbaity. I love it. Fucking TalkSport. It was like Andy Goldstein's trying to make a case for losing 7-0 is better than losing 3-0.
You watched it?
And I was like, I'm gonna watch this to see what the hell he's talking about. And he's trying to make the argument that like, they lost 7-0 because they gave up, not because they got outplayed. Like, it would be different if, like, his devil's advocate take was if Liverpool were actually superior and United tried hard, then it would have just been 3-0, and then we would have been actually worried because that was United's best. And it was like, oh yeah, he's trying to hide behind the fact that they had given up. But I think that's the main problem. Like they shouldn't be giving up. They shouldn't be doing that on the fucking pitch. And that's the one thing that pissed me off the most, because it's like I remember thinking to myself, like, aside from all the games, the results, the fact that we had this many wins in that month, the fact that we had the results against Newcastle and Barcelona, I wouldn't, if you had told me at the beginning of February, listen, Diego, you might lose to fucking Liverpool 7-0, but you have to take a loss in this month to be able to get rid of that result. And as much as that stings, the fact that Liverpool are gonna have to hold that over fucking United for it, because it's one of those generational things. It's like the 6-1 Stoke to Liverpool. It's like the 8-2 with Arsenal.
Seen that one today.
It's like the freaking 6-3 even. So with
Isn't-
United too.
Isn't it like the second biggest loss you've ever had?
No. It's tied with the biggest losses we've ever had since like
Which
the
was
30s.
against Barcelona.
It's biggest in
Since
Premier League
the
history.
30s. In Premier League.
Premier
Premier
League.
League.
But you guys also beat Barcelona, right? Or something like that? No, who was it against? I don't know. I remember. What am I thinking about Liverpool actually?
You're probably thinking of when, yeah, probably well, it was like 6-1 City against United in like 2011.
Yeah, in 2011.
But alright, I saw takes that this is the worst Premier League defeat in history. Not United's in Premier League history.
in any history,
This is worse than the 8-2 because in Arsenal's defense, when they lost 8-2, Arsenal were pretty bad.
Pretty been bad after
Here
ever
going
since
into this game,
You're up
the
there.
quadruple. It was a
Ev-
quadruple run.
everyone was hyped up a lot for United, the defenders, attackers,
yeah.
Especially after winning a cup.
and the fact that this isn't like for example, like Liverpool Villa 7-2 or Liverpool Stoke City 6-1, where obviously that can happen to any big team. They lose against the smaller teams. I can point out many more examples of the other 5 teams. But the fact that this is the rivals of the 2 biggest rivals in English history. And
As far as it being off of like a footballing aspect, I think it just makes it worse that they made it so easy. United made it very like, and I can't say that without sounding like I'm taking away the fact that freaking Salah blasted it
Oh, that was
perfectly first time without letting the ball drop.
Weak foot too.
And freaking and I remember thinking like, okay, the cut was nice, but then Gakpo being able within like what a space of maybe 5 yards to freaking stop and be able to chip it over. I was like, God damn! Like I was that honestly like that finish probably stung the most out of everything else. The fact that he was able to show that quality over. I think those other games had a difference in quality between teams, but I'd even agree that it was probably the worst loss only because there was a difference in mentality between both of them. Clearly, Liverpool didn't have much to play for before coming up to this game in terms of what they're still in, right? Let's say challenging for the Prem title or other cups, whatever. But clearly, it's still a rival. It's still a hated rival on top of that. And even going back to the whole, I had mentioned to Gal, I was like, fuck, this is it. We got Jinx, fucking Veghorst touching the goddamn badge. And then he came out and he freaking put up on his story. He's like, no, I was just trying to, I was trying to stop Van Dijk from touching the crest and actually like wind him up a little bit. And it's like, all right, whatever that means, but still, everyone was like, he's been a quote unquote Liverpool fan since he was young, and like he even addressed that. He's like, nah, I played for FC Twente, and now like
FC Twente.
and he's like, but that was my boyhood club, and now I'm at United, and like you guys all matter. And it's like, damn, either he's being serious or he got spooked into it. But it's like, like we believe in that, like jinxing that shit. If you talk early or if you try to like speak out of line and it just goes the wrong way, there's something that happened that someone did
You had to find
that
a
messed it
jinx.
up. So like as far as touching it, like damn, that's the thing that really hurt.
That's a
So
jinx. That's a jinx.
so like I would count it a jinx, even like regardless of whatever. That's definitely tinfoil hat. Regardless of whatever the intent was, like, oh, I was just trying to wind them up, whatever. It's like you still like you touched it though, like you got the what was it? What was?
When you come to the house and touch the bottle of tequila. I'm sorry, the one bottle of rum that
Yeah,
they
the bottle
prohibit
of
from
rum.
touching, and then when you touch it, you gotta drink it.
Yeah, you gotta take a shot, man. Yeah. So listen, it's I don't like that because it's not like as far as it being like the worst loss. I know they had fight in them, but they didn't bring it, and I think that's the only thing that qualifies it as it being a just levels of embarrassing. Absolutely, because like we've had 9-0s. They United themselves had a 9-0, but like that was a difference in quality. There was a much better team there. and a team that was like, okay, they're trying their best. They just didn't match up. Here it was, oh, they're on a counter. Let's just not even run back. And then Lissandro slipping was rain text. I don't give a shit what Nico says.
Okay, I'll give you that. It wasn't caused from Salah,
he
but
got-
he was
he
on
did-
skates.
he
was on
did-
skates.
he did get
turn
turned
him.
around.
He did
Yes,
turn
he
him,
turned
but-
him. He
but
turned
he
him
was
dirty.
still able to. He was
He
still
turned
able
him
to
dirty,
keep up
and
keep
then
going.
because
But
and-
could you admit that Salah had him on skates?
yes,
Yeah, he did.
because
Yeah.
when he cut, he turned around. Listen, when he cut and I don't know why he did that. Like I was actually surprised that he was like, and I think that for me was like, man, these men are shaking. Like
The still image made it funnier.
these men are fucking shaking because like he clearly like he's following him going out, and then like just because he got that touch and he went back out very quickly to Salah's credit, he fucking like that check back where he just completely turns his whole torso, realizes, oh shit, that's not where he went, to turn back around. Like damn, like why? I thought he wasn't gonna like how we would say like in Spanish, like se la comió completa, se la comió completa. And so whatever, if it hadn't rained that hard, he wouldn't have slipped and that goal wouldn't have happened. So
I also
I'm
have,
stick with
a
that.
stat which is prior to the game, which is absolutely mind blowing. One of the craziest stats I've seen was that in Liverpool's last 10 home games against United,
They haven't won.
no, the score
They haven't
aggregate was
scored.
29-2,
Yeah, we
which
barely
is now
scored.
36-2.
Yeah, they've been
Liverpool's
bad,
last
and like
10 home games.
that's the
against United.
point. Like if you actually like knowing this as a United fan, knowing that record, with the exception of obviously like the same way Chelsea had that record at the Toilet Bowl Stadium. Of course, to Spurs' credit, before he starts complaining that he gets bantered on, they were able to actually take care of business, and they beat them. But like the record of them going there and not getting any result, even in the last few years, like not scoring since Rooney, all that other stuff. Like, damn, it's just it would have been a pipe dream to be like, yeah, of course, we're on this high, we're gonna beat them comfortably. It's like you have to give them that level of respect at least.
That was a pipe dream, you said?
Huh?
That's some kind of pipe dream? Because people on this panel were extremely confident going to that game.
About going
Yeah,
to
I was-
Liverpool?
I was hearing one
Well,
phrase.
yeah,
I'm looking
Harry
right at him
knew
right
what he
now.
was.
I'm calling
He
him
was-
out.
he
He's
was-
awfully
Listen,
quiet
man.
the entire
He was like
time.
this. He was like this. He was like this.
3-1.
He was like this. Garnacho's gonna tear up Trent, yo. That's exactly what he said. That's exactly what he said.
He should have done Trent. That's right. Trent,
He was like Garnacho's gonna shit on Trent.
Yeah, but he didn't start, so we get to see that. So.
Now look.
Yeah.
Enough. I do have a hot take, but before we get to that, we bantered you guys enough. Nick's a fake fan. I just want to stay here first, all right?
I'm a fake fan.
Nick's a fake ass fan because the entire time he's been shitting on his club.
We're still
then-
not good.
And then one sign of like, well, not a big sign of that. Oh shit, my man's
I'm back on.
back, yo. Yes,
He's
the
like, "That's
smugness
crazy."
came
I'm back
back.
on.
The smugness came
But
back.
I'm still reserved because I know what the Liverpool team has done this
So-
season. They
so-
beat City at home. 1-0.
Smug Junior,
Well,
Smug
and I-
Junior.
And I quote from Nico Reels as he is saved
Exactly.
in my phone.
yeah, my man had the
Enjoy-
I hope
record.
you lose.
You got the receipts.
Enjoy the game, everyone. My ass will not, in all caps, be watching.
I watched every minute of
Wait,
it.
wait,
That's
wait. Why? Oh, because
crazy,
Darwin's
Nick,
supposed to not
that's
be playing.
crazy.
No, it's the
No,
midfield,
because
because of the midfield.
he sent the
Midfield.
picture
He
of the
said the
midfield,
midfield.
Oh,
his favorite player Henderson with Fabinho and Elliott,
Nick,
and then that's how he responded.
give the credit now, Fabinho Hendo.
Yeah, they were good this game. That's it.
RB Elliott was actually pretty
He
good.
was good this
too.
game. Yeah, I was
did
very
see-
impressed.
I saw a tactical analysis about that, which was actually impressive in that they Klopp deployed them to squish the. They're not an active pressing team. They're just like a zonal pressing team where like they set up to leave one man open. And so Klopp identified, okay, the guy that's going to be open is going to be this young motherfucker. And Elliott was the one that was moving a lot of that ball around in the midfield because he was free. Fabinho was able to pull Casemiro. Henderson was able to pull Fred. And this guy was open typically on, the closer side of the field, looking at it from that way, the left side. Let's start it like that. And so that goal, the first one, was Alisson putting it out to that side. Nobody there. Fucking Anthony didn't track back, and that was a mental lapse. I was like, all right, I could live with that. But they were able to exploit that all game. And so
I
at
think
least
Bruno was complaining at that time. Was that the one he thought he got fouled?
no.
Not the
No.
first one.
No. I'm talking about the very, very first goal right before halftime where Delo had pushed up. I think it was on Henderson.
That fault, though. People were blaming Dalot. That was
People
his
were
fault.
blaming Delo for being out of position. But again, I think it was the fact that he identified there's a free man there. The way they press, there's a free man, and they're not going to be able to catch up if we utilize that free man. So it's credit to that. It is credit to that. They were outmatched in that, and it's all thanks to that midfield engine, bro.
Yeah, Henderson, broken clock is right twice a day.
Oh my
No, but for real though,
God.
the guy has been horrendous this season. Obviously, like he's gonna turn up against a rival, whatever. Still, please get him out, please. Fabinho, he's been pretty decent these past couple games, but like I said,
He was yellow carded early, and I thought
Yeah.
this was it. I was like, that's perfect. As soon as they run at this guy, it's over. He could get a second yellow. They put someone in behind. But again, they had that free man open, and that's what allowed for, at least on the wings, for them to close that space. And he wasn't put under. I think after that yellow, he wasn't put under pressure at all.
yeah,
After that,
no. But Harvey Elliott, I was impressed by him, and then I've been very critical of him this season. I still don't believe he's a midfielder, but he did perform really well, and obviously United have been a really good team this season, so it wasn't like some Everton, some good performance like that. He performed really well, not even on the ball, but defensively as well. He won a couple duels, and for his stature, was very surprising. So, with that being said, I'd be open to seeing more of him in the functional midfield.
Actually, I have a question. How do you feel about Firmino? Coming out with the news of him leaving Liverpool at the end of the season, getting subbed on and getting on the score sheet. How do you feel
great.
about that?
Storyline,
It's
bro.
great.
Storyline, right?
What are you trying to say?
Do you want to keep him? Do you want him to stay?
Oh
Yeah.
no! I thought you were trying to say that because I don't rate Firmino anymore.
you don't rate anybody in Liverpool.
Yeah, for
No, I
real.
rate it. I don't rate Firmino anymore. Like, but no, you should still go. Right decision from the club. And actually, I give him a lot of props because he himself said, I'm not the player I once was. A lot of new players are coming in, like Gakpo. I want to give them a chance. Like,
He's humble about it. Then.
exactly.
Yeah.
It was the right decision. He's been aging. He's not the same player as he was. And Liverpool have 5 other attackers. They like you might as well just get his wages off the bill.
Tottenham,
And
get him.
also,
Get him, Tottenham.
I just mentioned Firmino having the courage, the bravery, to suck it up and say, I'm not the same player I was. Let these other cats, come in. Henderson, meanwhile, said, no, let me continue. F the other guys. Let me continue. Give me a new contract. Let a journalist write him some rumors that PSG and Atletico Madrid want me. And then so he signed a new contract. There it is. Two different personalities.
If every season you can guarantee United blowout at home with Henderson on the field, would you sign him for another 5 years?
Absolutely.
I do have a hot take real quick, and I feel like I'm made stir the pot a little bit here, but I saw it on the socials, of course, and the hot take is Ivan Toney is just as good, if not better, than Marcus Rashford.
I saw that tweet. They do have, if I'm not mistaken, Ivan Toney has more goals and
More-
less appearances than Marcus Rashford
And-
in the Premier League.
And I believe in last season as well. I did have that pulled up. So this season alone, Rashford has 25 games, 14 goals, 3 assists. Ivan Toney's on 22 games, 15 goals, and 3 assists. Last season, Rashford had 25, 4 goals, 2 assists, and then Toney had 33, 12 goals, 5 assists. Obviously, more games, but the numbers are definitely very, very big. A big difference in the numbers. But what's your guys' opinion on that? Keep in mind,
How many of those were pens for Tony?
hey man, you gotta score them. Hey, somebody here once said you gotta score them.
That
so
is
For
true.
real.
That is true.
Somebody here
That is
once
true.
said that. So
That
now,
is
dog,
true.
you
No, no, you
now,
gotta
now you're moving the goalposts.
No, I'm only saying
That's all I'm saying. Now you're moving
I'm
the
only
goalposts.
saying that
And it's
because
also consider the fact that he's playing at Brentford, and the other's
Mhm.
playing on United.
well, no, I'm only saying that because when you compare Rashford's numbers last season, he wasn't good last season, and a lot of all the penalties that we had, he was never going to take any of them. Whereas Tony's going to take every single penalty. Yes, of course, he has to put them away, but maybe find out what the non-penalty numbers are.
I mean, it's funny how now we
Don't
don't
matter,
look at
goal's
those
a goal.
numbers once things change. But
Yeah, goal's a goal. Goal's a goal.
No, of
Rashford's
course, he
first
still has to put
ever
them in.
Rashford's first ever penalty taken officially for United was against PSG in that knockout. So that's a good one to put under his belt. And I think it's a recency bias thing. Of course, Toney has 2 good seasons under a great come-upping team in Brentford, and Thomas Frank is doing. Obviously, they have good scalps. Even this season, didn't they beat City, if I'm not
I
mistaken?
think they did.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, last minute.
Yeah.
and so and last season they had some of those scalpings too, where they took those wins when they weren't supposed
They beat
to.
us, yeah.
And so I still think, of course, you know what it reminds me of? There was a post in 2017-18 that was doing the rounds where it says Lord Bentner, and they had Bentner with his stats against Rashford and his stats, and he's like, oh, it was like Bentner had like 45 goals, And then Rashford had like I think 38 or 39 or something like that. And it's like this kid's been doing it since like almost 2015 season. Like there's no he's going to eclipse that no matter what. And I think it's a recency thing. If he's better than him this season, as far as all competitions goes, I don't think there's a question. As far as Premier League, then I think definitely Tony has a leg up because he puts those goals away. And then that was what was the stat today? 10 out of 10. So he's one behind Yaya Toure as far as all-time penalty takers, regarding 100% accuracy. So Yaya has taken 11 out of 11, and that was his perfect record, unbeaten still. And he has a chance to be able to again eclipse that. So does it put him as better than Yaya Toure all time? No, obviously not. But if he hits 12 penalties and he tucks them all away, then this season he's better than whatever Yaya Toure had in that aspect. It definitely is a hot take. I like those because it's like whatever's happening right now, it's very clear to see an inclination towards one player or the other. But it just makes me smile because it's like Rashford's been doing it for already much longer than some of these players. And I think to his detriment, to give credit to Ivan Toney, because I obviously clearly didn't know of him since before Brentford came into the Prem. But I feel like he's one of those players that definitely is like we've seen late bloomers, especially even in like on the international teams, players that like just break into their stride at 28, 27, 28, 29.
Vardy.
And like Vardy is a great example of it with the Red Bulls and his rituals. So yeah, it's good for a laugh, but it's not even close.
You don't see any truth in that. You don't see any. I'm going to both of you guys because I can assume that you would assume the same thing that Rashford is not as it's probably better than Ivan Toney, but put Ivan Toney on a better team. Put Ivan Toney on a team that's going to give him opportunity after opportunity. Put Ivan Toney in this season's Arsenal or Man City. He's breaking almost 20 goals.
Well, all right.
Even early season Newcastle. He
Even
would
early
shred.
season Newcastle.
He would shred.
You see some truth to it right now.
He
Then.
would shred. Oh no,
Like this guy. There's only 1 year difference. One's 25, one's 26. So it's not like there's like a big age gap. He did it last season. There's a reason, and we all know Brentford approached the league a little, approached recruiting a little differently. So they saw the underlying numbers in this player of what he could produce. Could it be just one of those players that slipped through the cracks and nobody really saw and gave a shot to, and now he's getting? Because obviously his off-field things aren't the best. Could that have been what kept him away? Could he really be better than Rashford?
Well,
Is
I
there truth
mean,
to that?
I think Rashford is extremely talented. Like I think even now, even when the seasons where he was poor, the last season before or whatever, I think he's like the kid is the guy's like fucking 10 years older than me. The guy the guy is extremely talented. I think if you look at some of England's past attackers, I think he's easily more talented than most of them and some of them. Even him coming up, you can just see the extreme talent. So I don't think he's more talented than Rashford, but I mean you could make an argument that he has had a better Premier League season than Marcus Rashford. But I would say that Rashford has had a really good season and obviously post World Cup, and I think he's been unreal. But Ivan Toney, I mean, I love Ivan Toney. I just the way he plays, the bully ball, his link up play, his cleanness, his smoothness, and I think if you were to apply, and obviously like hypotheticals is obvious, it's hard to deal with, but if you do put him in a team, I think he'd increase his numbers by a lot. I think and obviously he would be on stage for a much larger audience because people aren't watching.
Tony to
Brentford.
Liverpool.
I mean, if they
Where
were
do
to
you fit in?
operate with the two,
To add to their 6 other attackers.
Let's pretend one of them don't exist.
all right, let's pretend Jota doesn't exist, right? I mean, I love Ivan Toney, so
You take him. I think
but the
every
thing is
I
with
think
Darwin
every
and
team would
Gakpo,
take
they're
him.
both
I think
strikers,
any
but-
team in the top 6 would
I
take him.
think, and that's the argument.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
any team would take him.
If Harry Kane were to leave, first pick is Ivan Toney. Not gonna
The
lie.
unfortunate part is that he's going to be banned for 50, 100,000 bajillion years. because of
So-
his betting choices.
So is there no way he can get around that?
No.
No, he
absolutely
already.
So is he
no.
gone?
So
Even
is the ban official already?
No, it's not
Not yet,
official,
not
but
yet,
he's
but-
talking about like maybe a suspended sentence, or even if it's like protracted, or if you take some sort of like a plea deal, or whatever. Like this is the plea deal. The fact that he was no contest to guilty charges for a chunk of them, and then there's 200 and so more. Like
So
I
he
mean,
is done. like,
you've
so
seen
he's done.
players get banned for quite some time
And like
on
we
much
talked about
Imagine
that.
this
on
happens.
much lesser
So
amount.
the
Imagine
thing is,
that happens.
I think honestly, and like that, we spoke about that before, but really quickly, like Brentford apparently want that decision to come quickly. Is not going to come until beginning of April, and they want it to be like, all right, you're going to give us 8 months, 10 months. We want to start it now, so that we get a chunk of it during the summer, because it's just over time. It's not matches. So
Right.
he wouldn't be able to play for England. He wouldn't be able to play for the Prem, and then at the end of serving that sentence, then he comes back.
So I was gonna. You mentioned England. So can he play in other countries?
I don't
No,
think so. I think
no,
so.
because he's cap tied now. So like, let's say if he switches to like, I don't know, to another allegiance, to France or Germany or whatever, based off of like a great grandparent or what have you. No, he can't.
Also
he can't do
because
that.
of. I mean. I wonder what is like. Maybe he has like. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's
Careful, be
Jamaican.
careful,
Yeah,
Nick.
I think he's Jamaican. I'm pretty sure he's Jamaican.
You're
I'm pretty
pretty
sure.
sure?
I'll
Yeah,
double
yeah,
check
no,
that.
it's-
Double
Well,
check that. Actually,
yeah,
double
yeah.
check that because I wanna. You feel me?
Well, Nick
But-
does his ethnicity research
But I canceled.
for real.
But,
It would suck to see a player like
yeah.
Ivan Toney not
It would.
be able to show his true potential.
What does he mean by gambling? Like, what was he like underage or like?
No, he was just gambling,
Told his
period.
friends, like, oh, hey, I'm about to go do this, or
Oh,
shit like that.
okay.
I'm just giving you one example, but there's so many examples
Am I
that you
right?
can do.
No,
You're lying.
it doesn't say anything into
Nah,
his,
you're lying.
into
Damn,
his
Nick's racial
family.
profiling over here.
No, just search out Ivan Toney Jamaican.
Yeah, admitted. Yeah, February 28th, admitted to most of the charges. Shocked and disappointed for the league.
Well,
30
Nick,
breaches,
I can't have you
262.
looking that up right now because I need you to give me the prediction update so we can end the
Oh,
stream
yeah, so we can end
and
the
then
stream.
go hop on pro clubs and hopefully get Division 1. So
He is Jamaican. Come on, I know my shit.
racist.
Okay, sorry. Man City, Newcastle.
You are right. Half Jamaican.
You just said
That's what I
that.
said.
He said that.
Oh, sorry.
See?
No, Spurs late to the game.
Okay.
City, Newcastle.
Yeah, City, Newcastle. Only myself and Dyer got a point.
Wait, what did I say?
You
Oh, I
said
said
1-1.
yeah. I was
I
gonna-
hate when you guys do that because you made me double check
No,
myself. And then like, oh,
I-
maybe
I-
I'm
I
playing it
think about
wrong.
this game. I did say I was going by.
Wait, I only got a point out of this game week?
You said
Yeah,
3-0.
3-0.
You said 3-0 and it was 2-0.
Oh, a point out of the game week?
Oh,
No,
from
sorry,
that
sorry for
match.
City, Newcastle.
no,
sorry,
from
I
that
should
match.
specify that.
that's where I got confused.
Yes, good
For
job.
Liverpool
You
United,
didn't say that.
Dyer gets a point for predicting a Liverpool win, and Marco.
Wait,
and,
I definitely said Liverpool.
I
win.
said Marco. I said and.
Oh.
It was on another page. It was on.
Oh
they
my
on my
God.
page.
Wait a minute, man, slow
Yeah,
down.
he waited. He
What?
paused. He made the
He-
and
he-
very long.
Because he
because
had
wanted
to
to
turn
let
the
you know.
page to
He
physically
double-checked
get to
that.
the other side of the information.
And Marco
He
Harris.
stopped there like,
I'm watching. I can verify.
Okay.
Okay, and then Brentford Fulham. That was 3-2 Brentford, right?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
so Diego gets a point for Brentford
Nice.
win. Gat as well. I do as well, 1 point. Marco, you were close. You said 4-2 Brentford. And so you get a point. And so that leaves with Dyer on 2 points, Marco on 2, and everyone else with 1.
yeah, did I get win the trophy again?
Yeah,
Nah,
we should
nah,
buy
nah.
it.
It's
I
just the
mean,
beginning.
that's
It's just the
fair.
beginning.
That's just the first game.
Just the
right?
first game week.
First game.
Yeah,
It's alright.
it is the first
We're
game.
good. We're good.
But yes.
We'll
Don't
wait till
count me out
Thursday
yet.
for the
we,
next
we
match.
bully you because you get that shit all the time.
I mean, not all the
More
time. It's only twice.
We
More
want
chip-
you to win
one
it
more
'cause
than everybody
Spurs-
else, and
More
one
chips.
more than
More chips
Well,
than Spurs.
make better
and
predictions.
2 more than Nico, Eric, and myself. Even though Eric is with an asterisk.
Mine,
Oh.
that's mine with an asterisk because we think Eric should have
Yeah,
won that
yeah.
first one.
We'll go back one day.
It's fine.
Well, thank you for watching. We are the BenchWarmers, the Bench of the Voice. Make sure you give us a follow. All the socials down below. Everything is all that good stuff. Marco, thank you for getting us on YouTube as well. We will be posting that in the future. Have a good night. We're the Bench of the Voice. But the Bench is always warm. Peace, everybody.
7 Up. Sponsor us.